Kuntz. A marathon, not a sprint. A marathon, not a sprint. Kathy Kuntz.
Madam Contest Chair, fellow Toastmasters and guests, it was going to be a marathon, not a sprint. It was every parent's worst nightmare. The uncertainty, the anxiety, the judgment, the guilt, the questions. What did I do wrong? Didn't I do enough? Am I a bad parent? Dixie, my son's early Head Start teacher, had just informed me, Corey is not developing normally. You need to have him evaluated. I was devastated. Later, when we got the official diagnosis, it was like the death of my parenting dreams. Your child has autism. My child has autism? My child has autism. What is autism? Does it come from a lack of discipline or a lack of love? Does it come from the environment or does it come from genetics? We don't know. What we do know is that autism comes from a brain that is put together differently. It makes some things, like communication, much, much harder. It makes other things, like creativity and focus, much, much easier. And I didn't know that then. And I didn't really care. All I cared about was helping my little boy overcome his difficulties and maximize his strengths. It was going to be a marathon, not a sprint. I remember the day that Corey took me by the hand and drug me to the refrigerator and stood there. The game of 64,000 questions had begun. Are you hungry? Do you want some juice? How about some milk? Corey couldn't tell me what he wanted, and I didn't know. All I could do was offer him something and see what happened. Predictably, he got frustrated. I was frustrated too. Wouldn't you be frustrated? Imagine what it must be like to not be able to get your needs met and to not be able to tell people what you need. How frustrating. How lonely. Autistic people need connection the same way everybody else does. It's just harder for them because they live in a world of unwritten rules they don't understand. Corey got help. A speech teacher worked with him and his communication improved. About a year later, on a hot, sticky July day, once again, Corey took me by the hand and led me to the refrigerator, but this time he said, "Popsicle." You want a popsicle? Popsicle. We were so excited. Corey could use a word. He could tell us what he wanted. We didn't have to guess. And it got even better. The day my friend Dave was up on the ladder painting the side of the house, Corey walked by and looked up and said, "Hey, Mr. Pevitt!" Dave said he about fell off the ladder. We were elated. Corey could use a whole sentence. It was a miracle. And yet, the progress and all the therapy and all the work. At 20, Corey still needs to have a full-time aide go with him to take high school classes. Corey still mumbles and pisses and talks to himself, and sometimes he walks. Corey still needs to have things very carefully laid out for him. And sometimes, when I look at his typically developing peers, it makes me a little bit sad. But Corey has some amazing strengths too. We are never late. We are always on time for school. We are always on time for church. Corey is amazingly polite, thanks to 18 years of social skills training. Corey is a good friend. Last November, unbeknownst to his father, Corey rode his bicycle 4 miles in the dark to Walmart to buy a DVD player with his own money for his friend Jonathan, so Jonathan could watch Guardians of the Galaxy. Being Corey's mom sometimes is hard, but I wouldn't trade it for all the world. He has taught me so much about perseverance and courage and teamwork and humor. And I don't take any win for granted. Maybe you don't have an autistic child. Maybe you have a toddler that's tearing your house apart. Or maybe you have a teenager that just wrecked the family car. Or maybe you have a mom in a nursing home that doesn't know who you are and is angry because they can't just go. Life has challenges for everybody. But are you facing those challenges with the perseverance and courage and teamwork that I have learned as the parent of an autistic child? Because life, like being the parent of an autistic child, is a marathon, not a sprint. Adam Contis.